Hey everyone, so I might have now the most sophisticated sunroof shades ever made. Check these out from TesStudio. Not only are these electric sunshades, but they are voice activated. Hi Amy.
I am here.
Close the front sunshade.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So we're going to do an unboxing. We're going to check this out a lot closer, talk about all the benefits, the features. We're going to go through a full install, which is going to cover everything you need to put this in, along with all of my tips to make it go a lot smoother than the install that they provide. And of course, all the links are below, and don't forget to use my discount code TSLAUCAY. It will always save you the most amount of money and works in all the best places. So the install is not that difficult, but there's a few parts that are just a little bit tedious. And like I said, I give you some tips to help that go a little bit quicker and keep it a little bit less frustrating. Be sure to watch the whole thing through so you see what you're getting into. All right, check this out. This is looking pretty good. I mean, from here, this looks like it's going to match the interior of the car really well. Okay, and this is surprisingly lightweight. I mean, they're much lighter than I expected. Let's see what we got here. Yep. Speaking of dirt, this is why we have gloves. Nice. Okay, power cable, signal cable. Warranty, this could be install. We've got some install bracketry, which we will get into. So here we are going to be tapping into the CAN bus underneath the rear screen in the center console. That's very easy to do. And then we have to run this power cable all the way up to the roof. And that's where the work really is. Really not that big of a deal. So we'll get into that. Okay, so it's a good idea to lay things out on the box that it came in. Don't use the outside of the box because that is most likely going to be dirty. The inside should be much more clean. So just kind of cut the box up, lay it out here. All right, let's get a little bit more familiar with these two sides here. This is for Model 3 Highland, and any of the Model 3s you're going to have two separate pieces because you've got two separate windows. The Model Y has one giant window. You also know that this is the front because it has this underneath. These are the control buttons as well as the speaker and microphone here in the front. You know, this is the other side of it. So that's how you're going to know, no matter which way, that this is the front piece. And then also, when we get in the car, these are going to need to be kicked out, and you can see how it locks in over this screw head here. So that's what we're going to be doing when we get inside the car. That's going to be a step ahead, but anyway, just to get you familiar with that. And then also this long cord here, I'll show you where to run that inside the car to get it up here, but one end will be plugged in here, and then this other cord will be plugged into the other side and then run to power this side up. And that is all the way over here. All right, first thing we need to do then is take the front piece, turn it over, and we're going to install these two brackets here and here. You can see we've got to remove these screws and reuse them. I want to take a quick look at this extension wire. This is the front, and the main wire that goes from the center console to the front will plug into here. It's a 3-pin connector on this side, and then this will plug into the rear section. However, the side that you want to push to here is this male side, because you can see that it's going to plug in there. So two sides, male, female. The male end gets pushed through to plug into here. All right, remember that. Okay, now let's go install the wiring. Okay, so I am totally stealing the TesStudio install video and will narrate and interject with better tips. All right, so remove this panel below the rear screen, connect the pass-through connector as shown. Tuck that part underneath there, and then we need to run the wire all the way up to the front sunshade. These panels here, I'm going to show you a different video. I don't think you need to remove them completely. Let me show you that now. You don't need to pull this all the way off, and you can just kind of get in here, pry it open a little bit, and tuck this in, and just kind of keep moving along. It's a little bit of a pain. The risk in trying to pull all of this off is every now and then one of the tabs will break. It will either break the clip, or it will break the actual tab that is part of the molding of this trim. So anyway, that is the risk. You know, I think I had one clip break on me, but then I realized that I didn't need to completely pull this off. I was prying it back anyway, and so I just started tucking it in there. Okay, if you have a non-US car, fantastic. This panel drops down as shown. Run the wire through there, pop it back in. However, if you have a US car, there is an airbag under there, and it's going to take a little bit more work to get that panel off. No big deal. Watch this. This panel doesn't just come off like they show. We're going to take these two off, and then you are going to need these bits here. These are like external Torx bits, they are called, and this is an E12. These just come right off. And the reason it is like this is because we have airbags. And I don't think the China market does. So there are 4 of these screws. Okay, once you've got those bolts out, then this just pretty much comes down. All right, so this comes down. Just don't get too crazy with it, because you've got this plug here which doesn't need to be unplugged. And again, this is a airbag, and just, you know, don't bang it around. All right, continue to route the cable as shown. No big deal here. That molding just pulls off, and you can just push it right back on. There's no glue or adhesive or anything like that. Okay, so this part here, let me show you how to get through here. They make it look really easy. Not that it's crazy difficult, but the way I did it here might be a little overkill, but it worked. So I'm not sure exactly how they push that wire through, but I'm going to try to put this, it's got a little bit of a curve to it here. I'm going to try to stick this through, get it to the other side so that I can fish the wire through. Okay, that worked. So I put this tool in here like this just to give a big enough of a gap, and you can see you got to kind of get around this bump here. I'm going to hook this in and pull it through. I mean, I guess you can kind of do this just using these tools like they showed, but I don't know. It just seemed like it wasn't going to work out so well, so I'm doing it this way. Well, I don't know how else to do it without just pulling this whole thing down. Again, make sure that you've got the male end going there. Just kind of push a bunch of this in there. Make sure it doesn't fall out. And okay, there we go. All right, I'm not going to tighten this up until I've got this run all the way and I know how much I need. So, and then I think we're going to need to slide this over. So I think they kind of breezed over this part in the back a little too quickly. So this whole back piece, trying to like get it all in here on the camera, it does kind of just press in here. You know, it's such a tight fit that you can just push it up here and it stays. Okay, so these brackets, now remember, short one here in the back, this long one here in the front. What you have to do is basically insert these in here. So these go behind the actual rail. And what you have to do is kind of try to line them up. You can see this one is not aligned. This one is better aligned. And then we're going to push this up and hope that we get the alignment close so that we can screw it in. But yeah, they made it sound like this L part here goes in the front, and they made it look really easy, but it's not quite as easy. It's not going to be that bad. You just got to make sure everything is lined up with both of these first before you start screwing everything in, but that's how you have to do it. So this one here is not perfectly lined up when this is in place, but what I'm going to do is, since it's off just a little bit and it's hard to move that bracket around just a little bit, I'm going to line this up, screw it in, and then push the whole thing over, because when I push it over, this one's lined up pretty well, and then I'm going to screw that in. Okay, so that worked out pretty well. You do have to kind of push it up and adjust it. I was able to get this one in, it wasn't that bad, and then push the whole thing over. These lined up pretty well, not perfectly. Again, had to kind of push this up and move around a little bit, but was able to get the screws in. You definitely want to get yourself a magnetic screwdriver to hold on to these screws better. Makes the job a little bit easier. All right, another tip for you. I was having a hard time with this last bracket, so I threw this pry tool all the way in there, and it did help line everything up. All right, let's look at these a little bit closer. So these look just like honeycomb blinds that you'll find in many houses, okay? We've got these blinds at our house, and they are fantastic in terms of insulation and, you know, in general, just looking pretty good, being lightweight, nice material. This kind of gives you an idea of how thick they are, probably about ½ an inch or so. And because it's not just like one piece of fabric, in here, you know, you've got a honeycomb design with 2 pieces of fabric and those air gaps in between. And this is probably going to give you the biggest insulation factor out of all the sunshades that I have tried. Not just the heat, but blocks pretty much all of the UV rays. All right, so here you have your controls. And at first glance, you would think, oh, okay, well, let's close and open. But no, because this is the Model 3 Highland, actually, you've got 2 separate windows. So what they've done is the front button here is used for the front shade, and this button is used for the rear shade. So when you push it just once, it will open it without pressing any more. And if you want to stop it, push it again. Hold it, and it starts to close. And really, the rear button does the same thing. All right, let's do a safety check. Can't believe I'm going to try this with my own finger. Okay, it's a little painful, but it stopped. It really wasn't that bad. It definitely didn't break it. Ooh, it is dented. And then one of the cooler features is that it's got this AI voice control, so let's try it out. Hi, Amy.
I am here.
Open front sunshade.
Okay.
Hi, Amy.
I am here.
Open rear sunshade.
Okay.
Hi, Amy.
I am here.
Close front sunshade.
Okay.
Hi, Amy.
I am here.
Open sunshades.
Okay.
So, yeah, they work independently. The voice, you know, when you're in the car, sitting here, you know how quiet it is inside your Tesla. The voice is it's not too loud, but it's a little bit loud, and there's no way to adjust that. But at the same time, if you're driving around and there's a lot of road noise, you probably wouldn't be able to hear it. But it would be nice to have a volume control on Amy. All right, let's talk clearance. There's a lot of headroom here in the front of this car, which is fantastic. I'm about 6'2"-ish, and I'm not having a problem here at all, because this sunshade comes down a little bit further than any of the other sunshades that I've tested. But again, there's so much room up front here. This is not an issue up here at all. Let's check the back, however. Yeah, it cuts down on my headroom here for sure. Let's see what it looks like without this. Hi, Amy.
I am here.
Open rear sunshade.
Okay.
So here I'm sitting very upright, and you can see in the factory car here, the other sunshade that I had back here too, my hair was also rubbing on here a little bit. So it doesn't surprise me that this one is also causing me some issue. So yeah, if you have any really tall passengers, they're either going to have to scooch down a little bit, or you just pull the shade up, and you know, there's really no problem without the shade here at all. It's pretty much just like it is, but without any sunshade here at all. All right, so let's look at it a little bit closer after the installation. I gotta say, it matches up pretty well with the OEM fabric and color. It's not 100% perfect, but the way the fabric looks and feels, it's very close to OEM. You know, it even has kind of the same crosshatch design in there. And again, the color is just slightly off. If you look all around, it looks good. Nothing is hanging down or doing anything weird. It's got a real nice fit and finish. Here in the front, the visors don't go all the way up like they used to, but honestly, until I just took a closer look at it here to make this video, I didn't notice that. You know, it's not like you're sitting here going, oh my god, these visors are now in the way. They're still well above where, you know, from your eyesight, so no worries there. Yeah, here you can kind of see a little bit better. So yeah, something that I had to do with my other sunshades is kind of take them on and off during the season and during the off season. You know, when it's hot out, I want the sunshades there for sure, because it's just, you know, you get baked. Not that they took a long time to put up, but they take a lot longer than just pushing this button and sliding it over, that is for sure. And I also couldn't decide sometimes, like in the winter, I talked about this before on some of my other videos, the sunshade, you know, summer, winter, it provides insulation. So if it's super cold in the winter, it actually helps keep heat inside the car, which again, all of this is important to keep really hot weather out and cold weather out. You're increasing your efficiency of the vehicle because it doesn't have to heat the interior or cool the interior more than it needs to. So I would always kind of think to myself, well, do I want my sunshade up in the winter as like an insulating factor, or do I not? Because I want the sun coming in when it does in the winter to help warm the cabin. Well, now I don't have to worry about pulling the sunshade on and off. I just push a button and I'm set. To me, that is a massive benefit.